The sun cast its golden rays on the tranquil gardens of Jetavana. Disciples sat attentively beneath the shade of trees. Buddha, serene and composed, gazed upon them with compassion. His voice, gentle yet firm, broke the silence. Life begins as a blank slate. Like an untouched field, the Buddha said. Each action we take sows a seed. Among the disciples, Kunda sat nervously, plagued by doubt and anger. He hesitated before speaking to his teacher. Master, Kunda began, my heart feels barren. I wish to cultivate compassion, but my frustration overwhelms me. The Buddha turned his calm gaze to Kunda, offering an assuring smile. Tell me, Kunda, what troubles your heart most? Kunda's voice trembled as he spoke. I strive to show kindness, but anger rises against those who mistreat me. The Buddha nodded, his hands resting on his lap. Kunda, anger is but fire, destructive to the vessel that carries it. Kunda looked down, ashamed. Life, the Buddha said, is not defined by pristine surfaces but by the truth and purpose held within. The disciples nodded, some murmuring in understanding, their faces illuminated by the wisdom within his words and example. Anger often clouds judgment, blinding us to its roots. Yet observation is the water that quenches this fire. Master, Kunda asked, how do I begin to observe when the storm of emotions rages within me? The Buddha gestured toward a nearby stream. Its waters flowed calmly, despite obstructions from rocks and roots. Like the stream, let your awareness flow, Buddha explained. Notice your thoughts, as if they were leaves floating by. By observing without attachment, Kunda, you create space between yourself and the emotions seeking control over you. Kunda listened, intently, his doubt beginning to yield to curiosity. Master, how does this lead to compassion? Compassion begins with understanding, the Buddha said. When you see the roots of anger, empathy for yourself emerges. Only through self-compassion can you extend true kindness to others. Water the barren field of your heart with patience. It carries on, I replied, the understanding beginning to unfold in my mind as I connected the river to my bowl. The Buddha nodded, his expression filled with encouragement, as though I had taken my first step towards understanding. Consider a tree that bears fruit in abundance. It does not ask who eats or rejects its offering. The tree simply gives. Kunda, be like the tree. Offer kindness unconditionally, for its roots nourish your soul. Kunda nodded, yet the creases on his forehead remained. What if others see my compassion as weakness? Master? The Buddha raised his hand, signaling stillness. Strength lies in the ability to remain compassionate amidst the storms of life. True power is found in restraint, not retaliation. Compassion demonstrates mastery over oneself, not submission to others' opinions. Master, is it not exhausting to give without expectation, to pour endlessly from an empty cup? Kunda inquired. Buddha smiled softly, his presence emanating peace. Your cup fills each time you give selflessly, for compassion replenishes as much as it expends. Compassion connects us to the essence of life itself, renewing our spirit through the very act of giving. Master, I fear failing in this practice, disappointing myself and others. How can I persist despite my imperfections? Buddha's gaze deepened with understanding. Failure is but a stepping stone, Kunda. Each stumble teaches resilience and reinforces the path. Do not seek perfection, for it is elusive. Instead, commit to the journey with humility and steadfastness. Kunda bowed his head, absorbing the wisdom imparted to him. He resolved to nurture the seeds of compassion within. Over the days that followed, Kunda practiced mindfulness, observing his thoughts like passing clouds. Anger no longer consumed him. He began to feel a gentle warmth in his heart, a sprout breaking through the cracks of his barren field. Kunda extended kindness to himself, forgiving his missteps, Gradually, he found it easier to show compassion to others as well. The Buddha watched him from a distance, a serene smile lighting his face. The seed had begun to grow, and thus, in the quiet gardens of Jetavana, the lesson unfolded. Compassion started as a seed, tended with care. Each disciple learned that within them lay a fertile field, capable of blossoming into boundless love and understanding. "No, Master," I replied, my voice subdued. "The meaning remains intact, though the beauty is marred by these stains." The Buddha smiled softly, the corners of his lips curving with kindness, his eyes reflecting a serene understanding. "Does the rain stop nourishing the earth because it carries mud?" he asked, his words inviting thought and reflection. I hesitated, considering his question, and replied, "No, Master. The rain fulfills its purpose regardless of its impurities." He gestured towards the group to follow. He led them to the banks of the Ganges, the river flowing steadily, its waters reflecting the brilliance of the morning sky. "Observe the river," Buddha said, his voice steady and soothing, "for it holds wisdom that mirrors the essence of existence." Ananda stepped forward, his expression curious and reflective. "Life itself," he continued, "is filled with smudges, yet its purpose endures. It is not ruined by imperfection. It carries both purity and debris, yet remains unchanged in its essence. Embracing all without discrimination," Buddha continued, his eyes serene. "Likewise," Buddha said, "we must live as the river, accepting and understanding the interconnectedness of all beings in our journey." The disciples listened in silence, their hearts drawn to the metaphor unfolding before them in the flowing waters of the Ganges. A villager approached, his expression strained, his words heavy with desperation. "Master, my family is starving. We seek food to survive." Without hesitation, Buddha turned to his disciples and said, "Offer what you can. This man's suffering is ours to ease." I watched him turn the manuscript's pages, his movements deliberate, his presence unhurried, as though each moment held infinity. "Consider the lotus," he said, gesturing to a nearby pond where the flower blossomed atop murky, imperfect waters. "Master," one disciple asked, "what compels us to give when we ourselves may face need? Is compassion not a sacrifice?" Buddha regarded the disciple with a gentle smile. "Compassion is not a sacrifice. It is the natural flow of our interconnected hearts. When we give selflessly," Buddha continued, "we align ourselves with the currents of life, finding fulfillment in the act of giving." "Master," another disciple spoke, "I often fear that what I give is too little to make a difference. How can I overcome this?" "The river begins as drops of rain," Buddha said. "Each drop matters, for together they form the mighty current that sustains life. Even small acts of kindness ripple through existence, creating effects far beyond what we can perceive," Buddha assured the questioning disciple. Another disciple stepped forward, troubled. "Master, what if my compassion is met with rejection? Does it still hold meaning?" Buddha looked into the disciple's eyes with understanding. "Compassion is not measured by acceptance but by its purity and intention within your heart. The river flows regardless of obstacles, nourishing life without asking gratitude. So must compassion flow from you, unconditioned and free." Ananda observed a branch caught in the river's current, entangled in debris. "Master, what if obstacles block compassion's path?" Buddha nodded thoughtfully. "Compassion, like the river, may face impediments, yet its perseverance ensures it reaches those in need, overcoming barriers. The obstacles you encounter strengthen your resolve and deepen your understanding, making compassion a force more profound and enduring." The disciples sat in reflection, absorbing the profound connection between the river's flow and the teachings of their enlightened teacher. "Master," Ananda asked, "how can we remain compassionate when faced with the cruelty of others?" Does compassion not require justice? Buddha replied, compassion and justice are not enemies but companions. Justice seeks fairness, while compassion transforms hearts with understanding. Respond to cruelty with the strength of wisdom and the gentleness of compassion. Both together bring harmony to the world. The river continued to flow as the disciples meditated, their hearts resonating with the lessons born from its relentless current. They saw themselves not as isolated beings but as drops within the river of existence, interconnected and integral to its course. Life's imperfections became clearer, their purpose more profound. As I embraced the beauty found within the flawed and imperfect, the lesson remained within me. Each word a stepping stone towards greater understanding. Each pause a moment of profound realization. Be generous without condition, steadfast in adversity, and compassionate in action, for these qualities make life a harmonious journey. The disciples bowed, gratitude filling their hearts as they returned to Jetavana, transformed by the wisdom of the river's lesson. Another day, another chance to understand interconnectedness. The disciples continued their practice, flowing like the river in their compassion. Another day, another quiet morning greeted the disciples as they assembled under the shade of trees in Jetavana's gardens. Buddha sat among them, his presence tranquil as the gentle breeze. His teachings awaited, carried in the silence of dawn. Sujata, a young mother with a heavy heart, approached Buddha hesitantly. Tears marked her face, her pain palpable to all present. Master, Sujata spoke, her voice quivering. Grief has overtaken my soul. The loss of my child weighs unbearable upon me. Buddha regarded Sujata with deep compassion, his eyes holding the depth of understanding. Sujata, your suffering reflects a universal truth. Suffering is an inevitable part of existence. Yet through it, we may discover a profound transformation, Buddha said calmly. Master, Sujata asked, how can one transform grief so vast it feels insurmountable, like an endless abyss within the heart? Buddha leaned forward, his voice steady. Bring me a mustard seed from a household untouched by sorrow. Sujata, and we shall begin. Sujata, renewed with hope, journeyed through the village, seeking the elusive household spared from the pangs of suffering. At every door she knocked, stories of pain and loss emerged. Grief, she discovered, was woven into every life she met. Returning empty-handed, Sujata stood before Buddha, her heart heavier yet strangely lighter with the shared burdens of others. Master, she said, I found no household untouched by sorrow. Yet in hearing their stories, my pain feels less isolating. I followed closely, the uneven path beneath me now appearing less daunting, its challenges revealing layers of meaning and truth. The disciples murmured among themselves, their earlier complaints fading, their thoughts visibly turning as they considered the Buddha's teachings. Grief unites us, for its weight is universal. By understanding this, you awaken compassion for yourself and for others. Master, Sujata questioned, is compassion enough to heal wounds so deep they seem to resist even the balm of time? Buddha responded, his voice rich with wisdom. Compassion does not erase pain but transforms it into a bridge connecting us to the world. So too, he said, must you accept life's imperfections, for they are the paths that lead to greater understanding. I felt his words resonate within, their meaning expanding as I reflected on my own struggles, the uneven paths I had walked. Life, the Buddha said, is not a smooth journey. Its fractures and flaws are the very things that shape it. In sharing, you ease their burdens too. Extend your hand in service. Forgiving becomes the act through which your grief transforms into profound kindness. Each fall teaches humility, and each recovery strengthens the spirit. The disciples nodded, their focus on the path before them, their movements more deliberate, their thoughts visibly transformed by his teachings. Through this realization, we learn to let go of attachments, embracing the ever-changing nature of existence with grace and acceptance. Master, another disciple asked, how do we face suffering without becoming consumed by its endless pain? Observe suffering as you would clouds passing through the sky, Buddha said. Do not hold on to it, nor push it away. Through mindful observation, suffering loses its overwhelming power. It becomes a teacher, not a tormentor. In the journey of life, Sujata listened intently, her heart no longer consumed by despair but filled with the seeds of compassion and transformation. Days turned into weeks, and Sujata began serving those in need, her sorrow now a wellspring of empathy and kindness. Her actions resonated deeply with the disciples, who saw in her journey the embodiment of Buddha's teachings on suffering and compassion. I watched the summit grow nearer, its beauty becoming clearer, the journey enriching the destination rather than detracting from it. Tell me, the Buddha asked, his voice gentle yet probing. What have you learned from this fractured path? The disciples hesitated, their thoughts visible in their expressions, each of them reflecting on the journey in their own way. Each of you carries the capacity to transform pain into purpose, suffering into service. Through mindfulness, acceptance, and interconnectedness, you awaken to the truth that suffering itself becomes the seed for boundless compassion. Another disciple spoke, her voice steady. I have learned to see beauty in imperfection, for the path itself is a tapestry of truth. The Buddha nodded, his presence inviting further reflection, his teachings unfolding in the minds of those gathered around him. And you, Ananda, he said, his gaze turning to me, his voice steady, what have you learned from this fractured path? I hesitated, his question unraveling thoughts I had not fully examined, my reflection deepening as I sought the truth within. I have learned, I began, my voice quiet but firm, that imperfection does not diminish purpose, but enriches the journey. The Buddha's smile widened, his expression filled with approval, his presence a wellspring of encouragement and understanding. Life's imperfections, he said, are not flaws to be erased but truths to be embraced, for they shape who we become. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.